DayZ is a very unique, realistic and intense game, but for the majority of the playtime it's actually not that fun at all. And if you ever ask yourself the question, why do I like this game so much? What fascinates me about this game that I'm still playing it? Because I did, and here's what I found out while I dove deep into the psychology of DayZ. And if we truly want to understand our life choices or preferences in video games and our character in general, then we firstly have to go back into our childhood, because that is where our character, our behavior and our core beliefs about this life actually come from. And arguably the most important time in our childhood are actually the first 8 months, because for the right and optimal development of a human, we need to learn in this time span that this world is a safe place and that we can actually trust this world. The thing is that this is not always the case, and if you're watching this video right now and you like to play DayZ, then you've probably experienced something different in the first 8 months of your life, which means that you've either made the experience that you are not wanted in this world, or that this world is not a safe place at all. And a good example for such an experience would obviously be some major trauma like abuse or one of your parents dying in that time span. But it doesn't always have to be that traumatic. Something like being separated from your mother because your mother was in the hospital or you were in the hospital for a few months right after birth could also lead to you adapting the core belief that this world is not safe and that you cannot trust it, because you didn't have the contact to your mother, which symbolizes the world, that you needed in the first 8 months of your life. To compensate for that and to ensure your survival in this world, you develop specific character traits and behavioral patterns to cope with this unsafe world. And a perfect example for that is that you have trust issues, that it is not that easy for you to trust new people. Another example is overthinking and overanalyzing and the need to understand every little detail. This also makes you a very critical person, which isn't bad. It is simply a coping mechanism, because the first connection to the world and to your mother in that sense was in some kind of way problematic. So if you've ever asked yourself, why is it so hard for me to make new friends? Why do I always focus on the negative? Or why do I feel so alone in this world? That is precisely why. But like I said, this is completely normal. A lot of people experience that, and you can definitely make this better and work on this. But now let's get back to DayZ, because this game is a perfect manifestation of our inside world and the beliefs that we adapted in early childhood. Firstly, unlike other games, DayZ has no story. You are simply alone on a really big map without a purpose, and you need to survive. And this is precisely how we subconsciously feel about the real world as well. Then we have zombies, which are also a perfect subconscious projection for how we see other people in this world. Just brainless people that want to harm us. Nice. And when you've learned to deal with this very complicated system of zombies, actually finding food, the medical system, and navigating on this map, then the real threat comes into play, which are actually other survivors, which are real other humans. Which then once again confirms your belief about humanity, and that is that they are all evil, because the majority of other players in this game actually simply want to kill you and steal your stuff. The overall goal of this game then becomes to overcome all of those challenges, which sadly is impossible, because no matter how good you become, some player or a server lag or whatever will kill you. And even if you've overcome that problem and have built a base where you can re-equip, that can get raided as well. And if you're not getting raided, then the server will wipe, everything will be gone, and you will start from scratch again. So this confirms your subconscious belief that you cannot trust this world, because yeah, everything is pointless in the end. Nice. So my point is that we like this game so much because it is a more or less realistic manifestation of our inside world, and it confirms the beliefs that we have about other people and the life that we are living in this world in general. So we now have the opportunity to live out this post-apocalyptic fantasy and to solve the problems that we are subconsciously facing, which are, like we already said, mostly contact to other people. Because if we are honest, what makes DayZ so special is the contact to either our friends or to complete strangers in this game. We now have uncovered that we are actually schizos who hate other people. Let's get to some other psychological reasons for why we like this game so much. And those are emotions or instincts and neurotransmitters. Because another big part of what makes this game so special and unique is actually the fear and anxiety that it induces. Compared to other games, everything in DayZ takes a lot of time, because usually the maps are pretty big, so even the simplest things like traveling from point A to point B take a lot of time. And even finding a simple basic weapon can take you up to 3 to 4 hours. Combine that with the fact that death is actually permanent and you lose everything after dying, and you have the perfect recipe for why players in this game actually value their virtual life. This means that dying in this game actually matters, which means that conflict with the environment or other players induce actual real anxiety, because we have spent a lot of our lifetime to acquire the equipment that we have, and we actually fear losing them, which results in a way more intense and realistic experience than the usual modern game. And this also covers a deep psychological struggle that every human has, and that is the fear of death, which is a main motivation in life. And DayZ brings that to the surface from the subconscious to the conscious, and you can deal with that over and over again. And on the flip side of that, winning a fight in this game, overcoming death, makes us feel really good and really powerful. And that is a big contrast to how we normally feel like, which is powerless in a big unfair world. So us overcoming that and feeling powerful for once makes our mind crave this feeling more, and that is also why DayZ is so addictive. Another thing that is closely tied into that is the human instinct of aggression, and the strongest form of aggression is actually killing. The thing is, in this day and age, the majority of us have suppressed a lot of their own healthy aggression. This is where DayZ comes into play, where we can actually safely express this aggression, which makes us feel good, which makes us want to do that again. And yeah, human instincts like aggression and sexuality are obviously a way bigger topic. But just a quick example for what I mean with healthy aggression. Healthy aggression basically is to make a decision, or to get out of bed in the morning, or to say no to someone if you don't want to do something. That is all healthy natural aggression, and that is something that is mostly suppressed in the majority of humans. In the end, DayZ doesn't give you a lot of fast dopamine hits like other modern games do, but when you finally achieve something, for example in the beginning that you can survive for 1 hour, that you find your own food, that you've built your first base, you find your first weapon, you've won your first fight, all those things feel really good and will trigger a lot more dopamine and feel way more realistic and intense. And on top of that, this game makes a lot of your fundamental subconscious struggles conscious and lets you solve them and face them inside of a video game. So my hot take is that if you would have had a perfect childhood of trust building in the first 8 months, then you wouldn't like DayZ as much and play it as much as you do now. So the reasons why I like DayZ so much are actually way more interesting and deeper than I initially thought. And now I would obviously like to hear your opinion. What do you think about this subject matter? Do you believe me? Have you learned something new? Do you disagree? Let me know what you think down in the comments. And in the end, this is obviously not the content that you normally see on this channel, but I really like psychology and talking about stuff like that. If you want to see more, then please let me know. And other than that, as per usual, if you want to support me, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. This helps me out a lot. Other than that, thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day and see ya. Bye.
Nah, we don't take no losses. Stop it, you know that we straight young bosses. See it, we want it, we